Hey everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're taking a look at the 2022 Chevrolet Tahoe four-wheel drive Premier. Now, talk about big, this is definitely the definition of big. Well, let's go ahead and get started. We get started in the front and we can see, yeah, this thing commands attention. It is massive. It is really big and it looks really good too, especially this color, the midnight blue metallic. This thing looks black. It probably looks black on camera, but when the sun hits it, it is really blue. It's a really dark blue and it sparkles so much in the light. My wife said, oh, it's a blue color. I said, no, it's not, it's black. But that's because it was in the shade and she had seen it when it was hitting the sun, when the sun was hitting it, and she saw, no, it really is blue. And it wasn't until a couple of days ago that the sun hit it and I was actually outside, and you could really, again, tell this blue looks so good. We have the nice LED headlights, which just look mean. It really has that mean face. Massive chrome grille, which is always nice in a vehicle like this. My favorite thing about this is the front-facing camera. So this does have a front-facing camera because sometimes it's a little hard to see kind of over the hood, and that front-facing camera along with the other cameras on this give it such a great performing 360-degree system. You have so many different views that you could choose from, and there is a little secret to it. There is a little option available with this, which we'll get into when we go for a drive, but it is a really good system. I do love that. But the other thing here is we have some aerodynamic openings here, so it's nice. It's, I guess, a little more performance to this, because this is actually goes through. You can actually, yeah, it goes through. But this area is blocked off. But hey, it is what it is. But it really is a really nice front end. I do love this new design with the Tahoe. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what's under this massive hood. We get under the massive hood and we have a massive engine. We're looking at a 6.3 liter V8 cranking out 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. And that is connected to the 10-speed automatic and the four-wheel drive system that this was optioned with. This is going to yield you 14 miles to the gallon city, 19 highway, and 16 combined. This thing has been really good. I've been impressed with the power delivery and how that automatic transmission is able to shift really smoothly and to the correct gear. So I'm not one gear higher or one gear lower than I should be, hopefully not higher, but sometimes automatic transmissions won't shift in the right way. But this is really good. I've been extremely happy and impressed with that. Will I be at the gas station a little bit more? Yeah, but there's smaller SUVs and smaller trucks that give you just as much miles to the gallon. So this is actually doing a really good job for what it is. Well, let's take a look at what we have in those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package and we have a massive 20-inch wheel. It is wrapped in the Continental 275/60 tire. This is okay, but I know there's a ton of other aftermarket wheels that would really shine with this. But with this wheel and tire package, it was great. I mean, big plush ride. You know, the suspension was great with this. The brakes on this are really good. The pedal was extremely good. It had a good, like, kind of meaty feel to it. It didn't feel overly strong, and it didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this thing isn't stopping. So it was at a good pedal feel. I did love that. But yeah, I mean, it's a good package, nothing to complain about, but maybe a little bit more life to this. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see this is a big ride. So this and the Yukon have been the ones that I've had to set the camera probably the furthest away from me when I'm doing the side profile. But you can see it is a big vehicle. It is a very square vehicle, but I love it. I do love these simple, just boxy designs, but there's a lot of character to them still. We take a look at the hood. Again, we can see a little bit of that kind of shape that we have there. The big 20-inch wheels. Again, I think the size is good. I think it feels a really nice size. Just maybe a different design, like I said earlier. We do have the camera on the mirrors to do the 360-degree view, which, like I mentioned earlier, is exceptional in this. And we do have the running boards. They are really good to help you get in here because it is a taller vehicle. So for kids, it's definitely a needed thing, which is nice. We also have the roof rails up here if you're needing to add some more storage on the top, whatever the case is, toys up there, you know, bikes, things like that, canoes, the works. Yeah, and again, this is probably looking black, but I keep looking at spots where the sun is hitting it, like here, and that blue just looks so good. And you what's funny is I'm glad it was in this dark color because it does give you that, like in the movies, this is the ride you're gonna see. In the movies when it's like presidential or any government agency, this is it. Which is funny because that's the kind of reaction I've been getting on the road with it. But yeah, overall, I do like the side design. Now, when I go to do the keyless entry, we take a look and we can see we grab the handle and it doesn't open. There is a button here. Now, typically I hate having to press a button and open up. I know, a little picky, but this hasn't been bad because I can clearly see the button is in chrome because we love chrome. So you just press it and open it up and you're good to go. The door is open. The other great thing about this is you also have it in the rear. So I'll go ahead and lock, I press it again and it locks. So I can unlock it as well and lock it without a problem. So that's what you need when you're riding in a family vehicle like this, is all four doors do give you the option of unlocking and locking, especially when you're hauling kids, smaller kids that you're needing to make sure they don't run off. This is a really helpful feature. Well, now that we saw this massive side, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in the back. We get to the back and we can see this thing is massive. So this is a little dirty because the road we have to get here is a little on the unpaved side of things, but not to worry, this does have a hidden wiper, which is a nice little touch. We'll see why in a little second. We do have the rear camera as well as the rear view mirror camera. Yes, so this does have an equipped mirror that doubles as not just the actual mirror, but it also has a screen on it. I love it. It's great, especially if you have cargo or you have people that are blocking your view, or if you just need to see a better view at night. That is probably where this system excels. And it's always so much easier to have that on than have blinding lights, you know, reflecting off the mirror. So we have that. We take a look at the exhaust tip. So this is a dual muffler, dual tip on each side. This thing is awesome. I love the design. It's again, like polished color to them. They are just really nice and they sound really good too. So we have that. We do have the tow package with this one. So we're towing 7,600 pounds. Now let's take a look at my favorite, the key fob. So there are certain things with the key fob that are really good. I kind of missed this one with the Yukon, but I went with this. So bottom right, you have the two little the button that you push twice, and yeah, yes, this is why the windshield wiper is hidden. So you do have the window does pop open. I love this. It's awesome. You just want to load something in really quick. You don't have to open up the entire thing. You'll want to use this as a film car. It's easy to just, obviously safety first, but you have that. Also, if you have pets, you can put them back here and you want to just kind of hang out here Obviously not while it's moving, but it's a nice option to have. So we have that. And we also go to the other option, which is the tailgate. So you can double press on that button and it opens up. And it's a fairly good amount of space in the back for your luggages. Now, if it's not enough and you're not hauling that many people, that's okay, because you can actually put down the seats. You can actually put down the third row, because this is a third row SUV. If you need to put down the second row, you can also do that as well from back here. You can only put them down, you can't put them up. But with the third row, you can put them back up. And there you go. And we can also either use this button or just use the remote to go ahead and close it. On the inside, on the driver's seat, above, when you're in the driver's seat, above where you have the sunroof controls, you do have a button where you can control it there. So lots of different options, which is good. So I'll go ahead and lock it because this does have remote start. So I'll go ahead and turn it on. So press the button twice. Oh, that V8 sounds so good. Well, it doesn't just sound good, it performs great. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go for a ride. You get inside the Tahoe and this thing is massive. So let's first get started with the interior color. This is their maple sugar option. Now, typically I'm more for black, but I'm kind of glad this one came with the maple sugar option. Reason why is it really makes this look even more premium. Sometimes I'm worried about like things getting dirty. Just buy a cleaner or something, because this looks good. This looks really good. I do love the maple color. We do have the four-wheel drive system here, so you can choose what drive mode you want it to be. Also the drive mode itself, whether you're in towing, whether you're sport, you have those options on here. And this does have a trailer brake, because this is definitely a family vehicle to help you with your family toys. So you'll be able to haul the race car, be able to haul your water toys, that kind of stuff. So you do have that. It's nice to have it integrated. You don't have to go aftermarket and so on. Then a little bit higher is where we have a lot of goodies. So we have your parking brake, which is nice. This doesn't have hold. So this doesn't have brake hold, which is, or at least I couldn't figure it out. I kept looking for it, but I did kind of find a way of doing it. Just turning on the parking brake, it will actually turn off once you accelerate. So it kind of works like a brake hold. My favorite, this has a hard button for 360-degree cameras. Yes, finally a button for turning on your cameras. Yes, even when you're on the go, you don't have to necessarily be in reverse if you're parking, because a lot of times you're parking and those parking assist features, not on this car but on others, will never turn on. It takes forever, and then you have to go into menus. So I'm glad this has a hard button for that. That was one of my biggest check marks of, yes, thank you for doing it the right way. So we have that. Then we get over to the seats, and these things are so comfortable. They are extremely plush. This is the American, the definitive American seat in an SUV. It is really good. It's extremely comfortable, and it's plush, but it's still solid. It still has a solid shape to it. So it's not just you're just gonna sink into it, which you kind of do a little bit, but in a good, rewarding way. So we have that, and they are heated and cooled. I can tell you, even though it is about 40 degrees out right now, that the couple of days we've had it and it was hot, we went ahead and we used the cooling, and the cooling was nice. It actually made the surface cool. So it wasn't a matter of it blowing cold air, which sometimes I like, but the fact that the surface was cool was definitely a great feeling. instead of, again, just blowing cold air. And the heated option, like today, is really nice. It really works well. We get to the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is nice and big. The feedback we've gotten is really good on this, so I do love the way it feels on the road. Feeling, you know, we don't feel every bump, but we feel the bumps we need to feel, which is nice. A couple of things with this is it's got some radio control buttons in the back. Yes, this is my favorite thing, because I'm able to change my radio station or change the track and the volume all in the back, so I don't have to be doing thumb wars in the front for that. When we come to the front though, that's where this gets a little because again, we have that, like what I experienced in the Yukon, where the bottom button is not really the button. You have to actually use the wheel for the up and down on this. Same thing on the other side. Yeah, I mean, because the left and right do actually work as actual buttons. So yeah, that's a little tricky there. We get to the gauge cluster. Full screen, massive screen. And there is a ton of things to this. My favorite is the fact that you can actually change the way that you want this to lay out. So I have it in progressive, but you can go into classic, which gives you like your standard, you know, circle gauges, progressive, digital, clean. So it does have a lot of great options to this. I've had it in progressive the whole time. And the reason why is because when you have it in progressive, you have different zones. And on the left side, we have the speedometer, but on the left side inside, it has for you to change different things. And in this case, again, if you're gonna make this a road trip, it's always good to make sure that your tire pressures are being visible, so if you start seeing a drop, you are able to safely recognize that, oh, okay, I need to stop. But yeah, it's been there. And in the on the right side, we've had the fuel economy, and on the middle, we've been changing things, but it's been really nice. I do love it. Oh, and we can have the gauges at the bottom, which is nice if you want to have things like you have your oil pressure, your oil temperature, your water temperature, your battery, and your fuel levels. So it's nice. You do have a lot of information, which is good, because when you're towing, it's important that you have that information on there. So nice to have. Again, very crystal clear, very sharp. Probably one of my favorite things. I'm probably going to be saying that a lot, but it's really nice display. And we get over to the shifter here, and I use that term loosely because this is again, being GM, part of the GM family, and it is going to share the same things with the Yukon, and that was the shifting buttons. Yes, buttons and switches. Yeah, because button for parking, reverse you have to lift, neutral is button, and drive you have to lift. And then you have your low gear setting, as well as the shifter here, or the gear selector buttons here. So you have that. Now we get over to the infotainment screen, and this thing is massive. It's a nice big screen. It's super clear. I do love the way that it stands. Like a lot of brands have theirs angled to avoid glare or things like that. Just keep it straight up. It actually works, or at least in this one, it really works well with this. So it is vertical, and it's big, it's crystal clear, it's very sharp, especially when you're using that 360-degree camera. It pairs well with that. So we have that, and it works great. Apple CarPlay, wireless Apple CarPlay, it's been great. No issues with that at all. And especially with connectivity and quality too. That was a big thing. I've other cars that I've done wireless Apple CarPlay, you can hear the Bluetoothiness where some of the frequencies really are suffering. And speaking about frequencies, with this Bose system, this thing is loud. It's loud, and it's a big SUV to really fill with sound. It is really loud, sharp, you know, clear. It just sounds really, really good. So great system in this with the Bose. We get down to the kind of a little bit more of the center command area here. We have some basic functions, your AC controls, your, you know, the heated seats, rear climate as well, because you can set that individually from what you have on the front as well, which is a good thing to have. Then you come down here to the wireless charger. Yes, this does have a wireless charger. Right now I have my cable plugged in, but it can do wireless charging. And even if you do have the cable plugged in, you can still put it in there because it's a good area to store your device. It's out of your way and it's not gonna move. It's a pretty deep opening there, which is good. Cup holders. Cup holders were great, nice and big. There's plenty of storage space here for you to put your big gulps on here without a problem. So they work really well. And we have the armrest. This thing is massive and there is a good amount of space here. You can put a good amount of things in here, but there's a little bit more to this. So we put this guy down, and up here we have a bunch more options and buttons and things to work with. One of them is to push this back or move this backwards. So your armrest, so this is the powered armrest that they offer, and it has a massive space here for you to put food from the drive-through or any other big items that you're wanting to have with you in the front. So it's nice. So we have that. Maybe a book bag or a purse. It really is that large of a size. We get to the second row and we have captain's chairs. So this, as you can see, I have my kid's seat there. Very comfortable, no issues putting it in because there's plenty of space for you to get in, buckle up the seat, and you're good to go. He loved it. I mean, he's just a big SUV, loves it. He's spacious, he's not cramped, so he loved that. He also loved the fact that it does have monitors behind the driver and the passenger seat, the front row. So second row entertainment. Except that they're just screens. You do need to have plugged in an HDMI device or something. They're just screens. They're passive screens. It's not something where he can go ahead, like in other systems where it has like an operating system, so to speak, and they're able to play games and things like that. So that is kind of a letdown. So to him, he just kind of saw it. He goes, oh, I can't really do anything. And yeah. So it would be nice, again, even if it has the smallest of games, like 2 games or something. There's another system that has something as simple as tic-tac-toe, and he loved that. You get to the third row and there is a ton of space in the third row. This is really a people hauler, and everyone back there is definitely going to be comfortable. No issues with space there, especially leg room. So it's definitely, you need a lot of seats to fill. This has the seats for you. And then we get to the cargo area or the trunk area, and there's a good amount of space available for just your standard grocery shop and things like that. Now, if you're wanting to buy, a little bit more and needing to carry more, you can definitely put the third row down, and you can actually put the third row down from within the driver's seat. And I experienced that when I went to go do a grocery run, curbside pickup, and I asked the person loading it up, I'm like, do you have enough space? And I went ahead and I just put it down anyways, just to make sure that when I opened up the back, it wasn't just gonna all fall out. Now, when I opened it up, I could hear the kid go, wow, that was cool. And yes, it is actually kind of cool that you're able to do that. And I do like the fact that it does move out of the way, so it actually truly gives you more space. That was, I believe it was the GX, no, the LX from Lexus, that the seats went to the side, and it was still taking up a good amount of space. So this one just falls flat forward. So it's a nice thing to have when you're, again, hauling a larger item or larger set of items. Now let's talk performance. This has the 6.2 liter V8 with the 10-speed automatic. Let me tell you, this thing really pulls. I could, it's got that V8 power. Again, not that V6s sound bad, some of them do, but V8 just sounds so much better. And this is a perfect example of that. It's so smooth, the power delivery, the transmission, the four-wheel drive system, it all works really well in this. I was extremely surprised at how much power this thing has to get it going. And with that great power comes great responsibility. And Chevy has helped you out with that. So the StabiliTrak traction control system has been really good. It doesn't cut, and again, I experienced this with the Buick. It doesn't cut the power, it lets it go a little bit, but it keeps you in a very stable, controlled system or environment, so to speak. It doesn't let you get too out of control, which is good. That's what you want. You want the power to get down when you need it, and it keeps you safe as well. So I've been super impressed with that system. So I do love it. And again, it works really well. Now, one thing I did forget to mention was the heads-up display. And that's because we're going to talk about it in the performance side. Yeah. So with this, again, you can take this guy off-road because it's got all the goodies to, you know, it's got the off-road setting and all that. It's got a good amount of ride height. And we have, in the heads-up display, we do have the angle that you're in, you know, all those little off-road goodies you usually get, which is nice to have this in a people hauler, because I honestly think this is the people hauler, being the premier trim. That's what this is. The other performance thing I like about this heads-up display, which I think GM and Chevy, you guys are missing the mark on, is the fact that you have the distance. So for the radar system, that obviously tells you if there's a car in front and cruise control and all that. But one thing it has in the middle is it actually tells you how close the car in front of you is in seconds. In seconds. It's not in meters or feet or yards or anything. It's doing it in seconds. Hear me out. Corvette, Camaro, Track Day, you have that function, and you're able to see, and again, using all the safety things, it's able to see that there is a car in front of you. And if you're wanting to see how close I am to it, seconds wise, and if I'm approaching it, if I'm gaining on it, you can visually see the time. And I know the Cadillac, when I drove the Cadillac CTS-V and ATS-V, it had the very, you know, all the gauge cluster basically up on the HUD. Let's do that little function for those performance vehicles. I think it definitely would be an awesome thing to have. Yeah, performance with a heads-up display. Now, who is this for? You got a lot of people you need to haul. You got a lot of things you need to haul, whether it's inside or outside. This is a great vehicle for you. Now, at $76,000 though, it is a premium. It is premier. So expect that. Honestly, if I had the need for to haul more people, this would be something I would highly consider. And obviously if I could afford it, because again, 76 is a lot of money to have to give up. But if we're dealing with other things in the market that are similar to this, we're dealing with $100,000 vehicles easily. And I can tell you that with this V8 felt relaxing. It felt, the ride, the suspension, everything felt really relaxing. While some of those other SUVs are, let's just say, a little tired, and just didn't give me the sensation of being relaxed while I was driving it. So yeah, I don't know. I think this has been a great SUV to have when, again, you're needing just this massive size, because it is massive. And just the performance has been really good there. And it's a really good all-around vehicle. Well, guys, I've had a blast in this. I hope you've enjoyed my review. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.